Well, hello everyone. Good morning and welcome to your sunrise safari. My name is Amy and behind the camera with me is Panda, and we are here at Sandringham. It is a beautiful morning. The sun isn't up yet, and we are out and about looking around, seeing what we can find. I don't know what the day is going to hold for us, but we are excited to get out there. Now, Leon and Rolf are also joining me this morning out at Amakhala and the Sabi Sands, and they are also cruising around. Maybe they found something already. I'm not sure. We'll find out what their plans are shortly. But for us here at Sandringham, I'm going to take a bumble around the reserve, see if there's any signs of the Black Dam Pride as well. That would always be nice to see some fresh tracks. I haven't as of yet, but we are going to hop in the car and get going and see if there is anything to be found this morning. Who knows, maybe a sneaky leopard along the way as well. Otherwise, just finding some elephants, giraffes, maybe a troop of baboons waking up this morning. I can hear some in the distance.
Success! And she's on the hunt. We've also heard news that the Three Amigos Cheetah boys have headed in this direction. So who knows, we might even, if we're very lucky, in the next little while. Now, we've got pronking. I haven't seen this before. We've got pronking waterbuck. Have you ever seen that? That was incredible. They're obviously trying to show this female cheetah that don't even bother coming for us, but that is something new for me.
You can stay on the waterbuck in case you see that again.
Yeah, I would like to ask other guides, have you ever seen a pronking waterbuck? There's the female. She's just walking through the thicket, so we see, I can see her now, but now she's gone behind the thicket. Now this waterbuck might pronk again. Leon, with all your experience, have you ever seen a pronking waterbuck? There's a question for you. And for Amy? But they are intent on not being chased, caught, and eaten by this female cheetah. I wouldn't think that she's going to bother going for them. They're a little bit big. I wouldn't put it past the Three Amigos. In my 26 years experience, that's the first time I've ever seen that. So that's why I say, even if you're an old hand at the bush or been around, you can always see something new, hey? And nice to sit and watch them watching the cheetah. So it sounds like Amy and Leon have not seen pronking waterbuck. So this is a new one for us. Any viewers? Anybody seen that before? Hopefully we get to see it again. They're actually moving towards it. There it goes. It's like a reindeer.
I should do it more often.
Yeah.
Very cute.
Very cool. It's obviously trying to be intimidating towards the cheetah. Not quite as elegant as a springbok, but carrying a lot more weight than a springbok does.
Oh, they're both doing it.
The male was definitely doing it, the female not so much. There it goes. There it goes. The bipedal hop. So I think already, even though we're at the start of the show, for me that's got to be an absolute highlight. Pronking waterbuck.
We are here and I found something to put under the microscope. It is a snake skin, everyone. Now I've picked up, it's a small piece of one, a small snake, probably a younger one, but no head attached. it's just the small piece that I found lying by the road. So unfortunately, I don't know exactly which snake it is, but it could be anything, from something as sort of, let's say, unintimidating like a mole snake, or maybe something like a pufferdo or black mamba. But with the head missing, well, for me, it's very difficult to be able to identify it because of the arrangement of the scales on the head that often help us to identify which snake it is. So it could be from any of them, but I thought it would be very cool to have a look at what something like a snake skin would look like underneath the microscope. So let's have a look and see. There we go. And I thought that was pretty cool to be able to see those small little almost circles, I suppose, like that, or oval-like shapes, and what a snake skin looks like underneath the microscope. And basically what happens is that as a snake grows, it basically outgrows its skin. And unlike us as humans that constantly are shedding skin cells all the time and then replacing them, a snake doesn't do that. It sheds all its cells at once, and it comes off as this single sort of sheath that it then leaves behind. So very cool to see the scales, basically, what they look like when the skin is shed and clear like that.
As often happens when you're on a little bit of a mission trying to get somewhere quite quickly, you find something else. And it's not altogether surprising, but look here. 4 lionesses, very flat out. And we're not far from where we last had the tracks of the 2 females basically on our right-hand side, and they disappeared. So they either went off towards the Mloati, which we were thinking, or they had gone another way. But I think what happened possibly, so we heard about the 4 Nkuhuma lionesses that were seen near Jack's Pan yesterday evening. I suspect they were hunting last night and maybe split up, and 2 of them came down from the western side of the Mloati, and the other 2 were on the eastern bank there. So that's probably what happened. Now they found each other and have just settled. Thanks, Shelley. They had to be somewhere. Those tracks were nice and fresh, so following up on them, I mean, we didn't completely abandon the idea, but yeah, working the Mloati downstream, distractions with those diggings, and now the lioness is lying down, so quite nice to see. So it was Franklin's that gave slightly disturbed calls that led us to first start investigating, and then we found those tracks. So it's always good to be tuned into the bird calls and any possible clues. It's not just finding the animals, it's the process of following up on whatever clues you have, doing a bit of bush detective work.
Wow, everyone, we've come across such an interesting scene. We had a vulture on the top of a jackberry tree in the river, and it just suddenly took off, which, I mean, they do take off, obviously, but that just seemed very sudden. And it flew straight over here to the nest, and you would have seen some crows, pied crows were hanging around there, and it's come to join its partner, and both of them were sort of, I guess, protecting their chick that's still in the nest. We've seen the little one moving there, and they were doing some grooming of each other. They were just coming, I guess, to make sure that the crows don't bother their baby, which is very cool to see. You can see the crows have taken off now with both adults there. I don't know if we're going to see the little one, but they were sort of bending down to it. Ariana, they are monogamous pairing birds, so they will have their partner and breed with them. And so these two are working together as a team to raise their little one, and I've definitely felt like they needed to come protect it here with all those crows around. My goodness. Seems like the crows have moved off, so job well done. They're listening now as well. We can hear there's 2 Wahlberg's eagles, it sounds like, that are calling behind us. Can hear a black-headed oriole somewhere too calling. I'm just glad those crows have left. Shame, I think they panicked a little bit when they saw.
Well, they did make their way quite quickly then to Jack's pan, so nice to view them enjoying a little drink. I think this is the biggest group of zebra that I've seen, probably made up of 2 or 3 little family groups here. When I say it's the biggest group I've seen, I'm talking about in these stints here on the northern Sabi Sand this year. I have seen groups of over 200 also in the Sabi Sand. But again, temporary groupings. Yes, indeed, Sam. It's always a good thing to see. And that'll probably be their drink for the day, unless they choose to go again mid-afternoon or something. But often once a day is good for many of these herbivores. All plump looking, aren't they? And they generally are, and there's a layer of yellowish fat just below the skin. And then there's also, of course, a lot of gas in their bodies because they're not ruminants, they have a through gut, a cecum. Bulk grazers, so they produce a lot of gas, which they often release quite amusingly, especially when they're running, even when they're kicking each other.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome here to Little Gowrie here in the northern Sabi Sand. My name is Steve, joined by Mpho on the back on camera. And, well, we're in the river. It's very, very warm. The river's obviously dry. A nice, cool place to sleep, especially if you are a lion. Now, apparently there were 4 of them here this morning. I haven't managed to see any of the others as of yet, but no doubt they will be nearby, sleeping in the shade. It's nice to be back. Our lioness is being irritated by flies. I can relate. Sometimes when it's this hot, it's actually difficult to sleep. I don't know if you've ever had that before. It's so hot and humid. You try lie down, but you just have to go and do things. I don't think she's going to, though, but she is looking sort of over towards where the sisters are. Ollie mange is, we call it sarcoptic mange, is possible in most mammals, I believe. There's a mite that lives in the fur of the animal, but more social animals seem to get more mange because they transfer it to each other. It also seems to sort of pick up in times when their condition's a bit low. But I mean, in Amakhala, we saw a number of jackal with pretty atrocious mange. Their whole tails were missing all the fur. I haven't seen lions in this area with mange for some time. When I started here in 2018, the Styx Pride, it was quite difficult to look at them, how many of them were completely furless. But mange definitely affects animals, and it definitely affects the more social ones more because they transfer it to each other. But what happens, they get incredibly itchy and they scratch themselves, and that removes the hair from that area. Generally the condition abates itself and they come right, but it doesn't look very nice for some time. There we go. Up she gets. Oh, there's the cat stretch. Or should I say that's the cow stretch? There we go. A little bit of itchiness behind the ear. Oh, that's a much better spot. Thank you. Nope. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be cooler where you go. Oh, maybe she's going to go right there. Toilet break.
We do have indeed the Three Amigo cheetah boys. They're lying up in the shade, and they've moved across from where they were on the reserve. They've moved a long distance, and they're now on the western side. So we are here on Leeuwenbush Flats, and they are also flat, lying up in the shade. But I'm hoping that they get up sometime soon. There's quite a stiff breeze coming through, and it's rather chilly, so they might want to move out of that shade at some stage. But for now, still flat cats. So Cade, cheetah aren't very well equipped to defend themselves against other predators. We have seen altercations between males. We saw it was a number of years ago where it was in the Masai Mara in Kenya, and there was a coalition that were having a real altercation with, I can't remember if it was 3 or 4 of them. But for some reason they were gunning the one individual and really fighting with it, and it was almost like there was a bit of a split going on within the coalition itself, and it was quite nasty between them. That's what we've seen, with regards to conflict between them. But as I say, not much in the way. They can chase jackals away, but sometimes even when the jackals band together, they can push a singular cheetah off of a kill. But these 3 boys wouldn't allow jackals to push them off of a kill, that's for sure. But if they had to kill something and the lions had to move in, they would move off. We've also seen where they killed red hartebeest, I think it was, and they left the carcass, and I went to investigate, and around the carcass there was a lot of brown hyena tracks. So even a brown hyena can push them off, and I'm pretty sure that that's what happened there. And they left the carcass altogether. There was still a lot of meat on it. But cheetah often do that if they get pushed off a kill, they won't go back because they really try to avoid conflict. Because one injury and they're done. They're not as tough as the likes of hyena and lions and leopard that can, generally fight back. And even if they get injuries, they can still carry on. With cheetah, it's a lot more finicky. They're not quite as resilient as those other predators, being built so much for speed.
Hello everyone, welcome back. What an afternoon we're having all round. I had to stop. I couldn't help myself. How gorgeous is this lilac-breasted roller in the afternoon sun? those colors are just popping. It's very curious. I feel like it's giving me the eye. Look at the colors on her head, on its head. Oh, that green is just so stunning. I don't know why we've been seeing so many more of them sort of perched out and not flying away. We've been very lucky over the last 3 days or so. But this is really magnificent. It's the perfect paint by numbers bird. I think if anyone had a picture and wanted to paint it, could do a paint by numbers on the lilac-breasted roller. I feel at any moment it might just take off and catch something. It's why it's perched like this right next to the road. We're so fortunate with rollers that they often do that, because they like the open area ahead of them to be able to look for food. And that can be so many different things, lots of different insects, reptiles. Yes, I do think so. I think every sort of part of a bird, whether it's, the tail feathers or not, are important. And particularly, I think, for balance and that sort of thing would be, and flight, like you said, it would be important. There's a reason that it has it. I think if you take that away, it might affect them. I've seen in hornbills, specifically some of the red and yellow billed, where their tail feathers are missing. They survive, and they have quite a long tail that they would use for balancing and things like that. So, I don't know how well it would be flying wise, but these animals are so resilient with things like that, missing a feather here and there.
Oh, well, it's that kind of afternoon. Everybody's going to be in the shade. That warthog on the right, I don't know if you saw it. It just yawned. How splendid. You can see each of them are going through different stages of tusk development. The youngster on the left, there's no tusks, but there is hair growing on the side of the face. See, the one on the far left has got very small tusks, as does the one on the far right. And the tusks are slow to develop. Teeth don't grow very quickly. When you see the one in the middle, it's got more formidable tusks, but the fur on the face grows very quickly. And when we talk about predator competition, we also notice that certain prey animals have strategies for survival, and one is to try and intimidate or show a predator that you have some formidable weapons, and hopefully they will leave you alone. And sometimes it works by showing the beard stripe. And I think I've been discussing the reason for the white on the face. It looks like tusks. Much easier and quicker to grow than actual tusks. So when you look at a warthog from the front, it looks like they've got formidable weapons which aren't actually there. It's a way of predator avoidance. Just a moment of hesitation from a cheetah or a leopard could be the moment a warthog can get away. Obviously it doesn't always work. Any predator that's tackled with a warthog with tusks will learn that it's a difficult animal, and a very dangerous animal at that. And so when they see the white, they immediately think tusks, and that can be a moment of reprieve for the predator, or should I say for the prey animal, to move away, get away. Split-second decisions are made out here.
Hello everyone. We were on our way to more water when I've passed our group of giraffe from this morning. So this is beautiful, the four of them hanging out. Oh, someone's doing a little bit of a scratch. I guess if you can't find a rubbing post, you can always use your fellow giraffe. Yep, we're talking about you, girl. And it seems like they heard something there. But they are very sort of sensitive creatures in that regard. Any small movement or unexpected sound can make them sort of halt what they're doing. Glenn, I have to agree with you. There is just something about them, isn't there? We say that about elephants as well, but giraffe have their own thing going on. It's also an animal that I really enjoy spending time with and watching them feeding. And also I feel so much that we can still learn about them, the social dynamics. Wow, this is so beautiful. Pat, you know what? It's not necessarily a behavior that we see all too much, but I have seen it happen before. The odd little nibble here and there, especially between a mom and a calf, I would say more so than any others. But yes, they can definitely on occasion do a little bit of grooming.
Had a couple of elephant moments this afternoon, and well, we thought we would share one more with you. Amazing how much grass the elephants are eating now. It's well known the elephants come this side in the winter, late winter, to feed on the overwinter grass. There's not a high grazing pressure in these areas in the summer. Buffalo and elephant to come through. Also, the abundance and proximity of water. So it's good to observe, to see what animals are feeding on. A lot of bush willows in the acacia. Elephants are getting to that time of year where food is scarce. But they can still get bulk. This grass is dry and it's quite low in nutrients at the moment. But through feeding on an enormous amount of it, they'll get just enough for them to support themselves. But Mr. Young Elephant, do you know that spring is only a couple days away? I can't believe it. Spring is definitely, feels like it's already here. Lynette, beautiful scenes. Well, it's finally feeling nice and cool. Not cool enough to put on a jersey of any sort, but it's nice and fresh compared to today. I feel like it's going to be warm tomorrow, and then I think it peters down again on maybe Monday, Tuesday. That'll be a treat. But everybody, we do thank you for joining us this afternoon. It's been wonderful having you on board. Wonderful to spend time out in the wild places again, with the elephants and with some of the Nkuhuma lions. We do look forward to having you on board tomorrow morning. Thank you from all of us here at WildEarth. Thank you for your questions and comments. We'll be live same time, same place. Until then, have a beautiful afternoon further. Good night and goodbye.